Welcome, welcome.
Yay.
Bienvenidos a la sesión de preguntas y respuestas. Estoy aquí con Mike, Yvette, Jasmine. Sorry, this is so weird because I'm like used to people talking. Or no, not with the lives. The lives are different. But yeah, guys, welcome to our Q&A on Zoom. This is very different. I've never really used Zoom before except when I was in college. So I don't really know how to use this, but wow, there's people on here. A lot of people joining. Wow. Thanks, guys, for wanting to be a part of this.
Hey, Britt, while I'm admitting them all, why don't you tell them a little bit about Texas? Give us some cheese.
Okay, cheese, el queso. I don't know what's going on here except this weather is really bipolar. Right now, there's a lot of thunder and clouds. There's a breeze and it's really hot here. But, oh, and before I try to explain all this, sorry. So Yvette, ella va a traducir para mí because it's gonna take like 5 hours for me to try to do both languages. Anyway, so yeah, the weather here is a bit gloomy and there's thunder. Yvette, you want to?
El clima aquí es un poquito nublado y hay relámpagos y hay truenos también.
Yeah. But I've been loving it here. The people here are a lot nicer here than California. So really go.
La gente es más amable aquí que en California, eso es por seguro.
And one thing I've been telling a lot of people is like when you smile at people here, they actually smile back at you, which is something I'm not used to.
So aquí cuando uno le sonríe a alguien, ellos también le sonríen de regreso, que es algo que pues no estoy acostumbrada a ver.
Because back in California, when you smile at people, they kind of look at you like, what are you looking at? Or what are you smiling at?
Porque en California cuando uno le sonríe a alguien, a veces le miran a uno como que están, ¿por qué me están mirando?
Yeah. But yeah, overall, love it here. There's a lot of good food and I'm probably going to get really fat after trying out all these food places.
Y aquí pues me he acostumbrado porque la comida es súper buena y siento que me voy a engordar porque voy a comer mucho acá.
But yeah, that's the Texas update.
All right, we're going to go through as many of our Zoom guests as we can. We're going to first start off with like the best one. Wait, she disappeared. Jazz, where are you at?
Oh no.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Let me look for her.
Ella no está aquí.
Estamos buscando a Jasmine.
Okay, well, I think she might have had some technical difficulties, so hopefully she jumps back on. Brittany, how do you overcome issues of people not being committed? Drama between members, and it's awkward between members, so practices are weird. We've always been in that place where somebody isn't as committed as they used to be, and so we have to kind of figure out how to navigate that situation and make sure that nobody leaves with bad feelings or negative thoughts about the team. But then again, if they're not really being constructive or helping to build the team, it's not great to have them in that position. What do you say to that?
Okay. Esa pregunta es para Brittany. ¿Cómo superas cuando la gente no se compromete y eso se convierte en como un drama entre miembros del grupo? Pretty much, yeah.
Can I answer?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. I would say one thing I had to learn when I first started leading with Mike is confrontation is super key to building a team.
Cuando yo empecé y estaba trabajando con Mike, yo aprendí que confrontar la situación es algo muy clave.
Yeah, and when I first started, I hated like confronting people when there was like either conflict or an awkward situation where I had to like talk to someone else on the team.
Cuando yo empecé, yo sentí que no estaba cómoda con confrontar a alguien que estaba en el equipo.
But I realized how important honesty is in a team and how honesty is like the best way in order for a team to move forward and grow and be unified.
Pero yo aprendí que la honestidad es algo tan importante y eso es clave para que el grupo siga y que crezca.
So, like I talked about this a lot before, but there's like a scripture in, I think it's in Matthew, but it talks about like the importance of confrontation.
Yo he hablado de esto antes, que hay una escritura, creo que es en Mateo, que habla de la confrontación.
And I'm not gonna like get all into it, but it says like whenever like you have conflict with your brother, to approach your brother, and if they deny the conflict, then go to your brother again with a witness, and then if they still deny it, then take it to like your church leadership. I don't know if you want
So, it's okay. La escritura se trata de cuando alguien que tiene un conflicto, que vaya a la persona, a su hermano con el que tiene el conflicto, y que traiga un testigo que sea parte de eso. Si ahí no se resuelve, entonces hay que llevar el conflicto al nivel más alto, que sería el líder.
But the last thing I'll end on in answering this, another thing that was a huge importance in helping our team whenever we had issues or things are awkward or for us to be unified, is having times of devotion and prayer together.
Otra cosa que yo hacía con mi grupo era que en una situación así, teníamos devocionales, teníamos oraciones, y lo hacíamos todo en grupo y juntos.
And it's in those,
porque eso ayuda.
Sorry, yeah. But
no,
it's in those times where you want obviously to create a safe space for your team. And once you build that trust amongst like your whole team, it's a lot easier for everyone to be honest and open up about maybe issues that they've had in their personal life, or even issues that they have with people in the team.
So, cuando uno hace eso crea como un ambiente, un espacio de seguridad donde se sienten cómodos los miembros del grupo de poder expresarse, de hablar y realmente resolver el conflicto. Ese es el tipo de ambiente que uno necesita para poder, para poder, sorry, se me olvidó la palabra, pero para poder como resolver, para que eso se resuelva, perdón.
Yeah, but that's how I would answer it, sorry.
Guys, we have 92 Zoom guests and still people are joining.
Oh my
God. Awesome.
Wow. Tenemos 92 personas conectadas y se siguen añadiendo.
Thank you guys. Gracias a todos.
But our favorite guest and my favorite guest is Jazz, and she's with us. Jazz, how are you?
Hello, all the 91 people. Hola a todos. So excited.
Hey, really quick, tell us how Stockton is.
Stockton is great. You know, as long as you keep the heat in your pocket, like you're good, you're safe.
Oh, awesome. Kevin, you look familiar. I always see your name in the comments. You want to say hello? Kevin Reyes.
Hi.
I'm from Boston, Massachusetts. I go to this church called
Boston,
America. So I'm a biggest fan of your songs, especially for your worship team and everything. It's amazing.
Hey,
thank you so much for joining.
Do you have a question? If you don't, that's all right.
For Brittany is are you attending to the Oakland church?
Hey, that's a good question to start off with, because we got like a few of them. You're always getting like that question every day.
Yeah, so like Mike said, I've gotten this question a lot, and the answer is I am currently attending Upper Room. I don't know if that's going to be like my home church in the long run, but right now that's kind of where God has me. So I'm just rolling with it, and it's been awesome.
What should I do if I don't got a bass player? What equipment would you recommend? From Jose. I don't know if that's actually Jose, our Jose, and he's just trying to troll us or not. But if you don't got a bass player, quick answer is stems. Go ahead, Yvette.
Okay, so la pregunta fue que uno, pues, ¿qué hago si no tengo un bajista? Y la respuesta que dio Mike es usar stems o los multi-tracks, las pistas. como le dirían tradicionalmente en las pistas.
Nasiah asks, I have a quick question. What are the worship signals you used? A lot of the songs we lead, we sing them in the keys and versions of Nuestra Vida, which is very nice. I'm going to answer one of those questions or give them one of the answers. This was never a sign. It was just a bad habit. Britt or Yvette, you want to give a little translation for that?
So, la pregunta fue, ¿cuáles son las señales que Brittany usaba durante la alabanza? Porque la persona que preguntó, ellos hacen las mismas canciones y los sets que hacía Centro Vida, entonces la pregunta fue, ¿cuáles fueron las señales que Brittany usaba? Pero Mike quería aclarar algo. Una de las señales que la gente como que se confundía, pero no era señal, que solo era un hábito malo, una maña que tenía Brittany, era esto no era una señal, no significaba nada, solo era una maña que tenía Brittany, un hábito que ella tenía. So.
The mystery's over.
Se terminó el misterio.
What are the other signals that we gave, Britt?
Yeah, let's do a little rundown. So this is like, do I just go through like the verse?
Yeah, just real quick. Just real quick. Let's go.
Let's do, this is, verse 1, verso 1, verse 2, verso 2, chorus, coro, bridge, puente. This one's like pre-chorus, like pre-coro. I don't know how you say it, pre-chorus. And sometimes I would do this for like a tag. I don't even know how you say tag. Yvette, how would you
repetir,
or
right?
Yeah,
like you tag.
Yeah, like repeat or something. And then this is like instrumental, like instrumento. Is that how you say it? Instrumental, perdón. But yeah, that's kind of those were the signs I used. I hope that was helpful.
And the sign that she kind of gave the ministers or the MCs whenever she wasn't finished was like this. It was like just like a slice through the air of the hand.
You stop. He's joking.
No?
Está jugando.
Am I joking? Am I joking?
I don't know. We'll never know.
What should we do when a key team member leaves and there is no other qualified person?
La pregunta fue, ¿qué hago si uno de mis miembros importantes o miembros claves del grupo se va del grupo y no tengo a nadie que califique para ese mismo puesto en el grupo, que no sea como que no pueda reemplazar a esa persona?
The only thing I could think of right now is there was a point where a key member wasn't a key member. I don't know if you want to translate that.
Sí, había, lo que está diciendo Brittany es que había un punto donde ese miembro clave no siempre fue un miembro clave.
And like there has to be an opportunity for like a team member to be pushed, like if they're very new, like there has to be the opportunity for them to be pushed so they can grow in their giftings and become a key member. I don't know if this is making sense. This is just sorry.
It's okay. Y lo que uno tiene que hacer es cuando ese miembro es nuevo, es empujarlos para que ellos crezcan en sus dones y en sus talentos y para que puedan crecer en su ministerio.
This is the best example I can give, and hopefully this makes more sense. But when I first started leading at Centro Vida, the key leader transitioned out. I don't know if you want to translate.
So, yeah, sure. Cuando yo empecé a dirigir en Centro Vida, eso fue un tiempo donde líder que teníamos antes se había ido. Entonces yo era la nueva líder y la que dirigía.
And when I first started leading, like I wasn't the worship leader then that I am today. Like I was very new in everything.
Y cuando yo empecé, yo no era la directora de alabanza que soy hoy. Yo era nueva a eso, era algo nuevo para mí.
I was still not confident in my Spanish, and I struggled with communicating with my church family.
No estaba segura ni español y tenía problemas comunicándome con los miembros de la iglesia, los miembros de la congregación.
But overall, the whole reason of me saying that is it's sometimes in those moments of need, when they need someone, you have the opportunity to step up and can become that key member that is needed.
Y hay unos momentos necesarios, unos momentos de necesidad, cuando uno puede uno puede convertirse en ese miembro clave.
And like, all I can say to end this out is like, God can equip anyone that is willing to be used as his vessel.
Y voy a terminar con eso. Dios puede equipar a alguien que esté dispuesto para ser una vasija.
And that's what he did for me. And that's what he can do for you, for the person that was asking about a key member leaving. He can equip you, or he can equip anyone else that's on your team.
Él puede equipar a la persona que me hizo esta pregunta. Él puede equiparle a usted o a alguien que pues todavía es nuevo, a cualquier otra persona. Él puede hacer como lo hizo por mí, Brittany. Lo puede hacer por alguien más.
So I don't know, Mike, if you wanted to add.
That's very well said. I would just add that God always provides for his church. It's not our church. It's not our house. It's God's house. He knows how to furnish it in the way that he sees fit. And we just got to trust him for that. And if there isn't anybody that we feel that is qualified, that's just because we don't see what God sees.
So Dios, Mike, lo que va a añadir es que Dios siempre va a proveer para su iglesia, porque no es nuestra iglesia, sino la de Dios. Entonces, él siempre va a tener los recursos y va a proveer a las personas indicadas para poder cumplir el trabajo del ministerio.
Jacob, I'm going to go ahead and unmute you. How's it going, Jacob?
Yeah, I'm from California and here in Texas now.
Wow.
Here in Texas, and been here 20 years. So welcome to Texas, Brittany. And Mike. Hello, sir. How you doing? And Yvette. And my beautiful wife right here.
Hi, how are you?
Hi.
It's good to see you guys.
No, good to see you guys. I've been waiting for this, and finally Brittany made it to Texas, which is even better.
Yes.
But my question was, as a leader, as a worship leader, how do you prepare yourself with songs, especially on Sundays when it gets more of a full house? How do you prepare your songs to where, you know, you just want to feel the holy presence of God? You know, how do you prepare for that?
Thank you.
Well, I can only, my answers are just based on my experience. So hopefully I can be helpful. But for me, like when Mike and I would meet every week, how we would prepare our song sets is two things. One of them is Mike would just always ask me like, hey, what's on your heart? Like, what has God been placing on your heart, whether it's a specific song or it's a specific theme that we can create a song set to relate to that theme. Or on top of that, if your church is ever having like a special event, like your leadership, they may have a special theme. So that kind of gives you direction of what kind of song set to choose. But what we would do is kind of just choose, if I felt like a song on my heart that the Lord has been prompting me to sing, we would choose that song. And then we would choose the other songs kind of relating to that same theme of that first song that we chose. But on top of that, in order for my preparation for it, practice the songs nonstop. And something I always tell like our key members at the time was know the song so well that you're not dependent or thinking about the lyrics or the sequence or where to go from, but you practice the song so much that it's like muscle memory and it's embedded in your brain that you're not even worrying about the details of the song. You're more focusing on God's spirit and what he's doing in your church or in that moment, wherever you guys are at. Because if you're not prepared enough, you're going to be too focused on the details. And then that's going to kind of bring that kind of that void or that block between focusing on his presence and being able to flow and whatever he's doing in that moment. But yeah, I hope that kind of answered the question. Mike, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, Yvette, you can translate for me. And I'll
oh my God, I'm so sorry, Yvette.
No, it's okay.
No, it's okay. I forget
fine,
too.
I'll jump in.
I'll kind of rephrase the question. How do we prep for worship services on Sunday? And for us, we had to do it for Sunday night, and Wednesday night, and then still had to prepare like a devotional for rehearsal. Go ahead, Beth.
La pregunta es cómo se preparaban ellos para los domingos, los dos cultos de la mañana y de la noche, y los miércoles, y también preparaban algo para los devocionales que tenían durante sus ensayos.
And honestly, there isn't like a perfect answer. And if we were still doing it today, we might have like a different protocol for each week, especially when it comes to the details.
No hay una respuesta perfecta, cada vez cambiaba porque dependía de los detalles y el protocolo que había para ese culto o servicio.
I would just say this, do it methodically. Choose every song with purpose.
Yo diría que cuando escojan las canciones, los escojan con intención y con propósito y que tengan un método cuando lo hacen.
Don't choose songs because they're popular.
No escojan canciones porque son populares.
Don't choose songs because other people keep on asking for you to sing them.
No escojan canciones porque la gente le está pidiendo que canten esas canciones.
Choose songs that you've prayed about. Choose songs that God is leading you to sing. Choose songs that mean something to you. If the song means something to you, then you're going to be able to express it in a better way than singing a song that's popular that doesn't really relate to your situation.
Escojan canciones que Dios pone en sus corazones, porque esas canciones o canciones que le hablan a usted, porque esas canciones van a venir de su corazón y van a poder expresarse por medio de esas canciones y la gente va a recibir más por esas canciones. Oh my God, my Spanish, I'm so sorry.
Great.
It's okay, it's great. A lot of times as worship leaders, we get pressured to sing certain ways and certain songs and no, I want more fast music, or no, I want more slow music, or no, I want the worship to be shorter. A lot of times we get that pressure held over us.
A veces como directores de alabanza nosotros recibimos y sentimos mucha presión sobre nosotros de que canten canciones más rápidas, canten canciones más lentas, tienen que acortar el tiempo de adoración.
You have to stay prayed up.
Tienen que mantenerse en oración.
Because a lot of times all of that pressure can be very discouraging and overwhelming.
Porque a veces ese tipo de presión puede a uno quitarle la motivación para dirigir.
Prayer and then also worship on your own time.
Yeah.
Y oración y también mucha alabanza durante su tiempo personal.
Because that worship, especially when you're doing it amongst close friends or family, or even if you're doing it by yourself, if you're just singing to the wall and just a platform between you and God, that's going to refresh you and remind you of the reason why you want to sing on the platform, why you want to lead a congregation. And if you don't have that in the back of your mind, like, you're going to forget why you're doing this. Is it because I'm trying to please certain people, or am I trying to please God?
A veces en esos tiempos personales que uno tiene con Dios, aunque sea cantando entre familia o amigos cercanos, o cuando uno esté cantando solo en su cuarto, en su lugar de oración, esa plataforma entre usted y Dios, eso le va a ayudar a usted como a refrescar y recordar por qué está haciendo lo que hace para Dios, porque a veces la presión le puede a uno quitar el enfoque, y teniendo esos tiempos a solas con el Señor son claves para poder acordarse el motivo por lo que está haciendo.
From Caroline on Instagram, when did you know that worship was your calling, or that leading worship was your calling?
It took me a while, probably because I didn't want to lead worship, to be honest.
Talk about it.
Well, here, do you want Yvette to translate the question and my answer?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. I can remember the question. I'll kind of paraphrase it. La pregunta fue, ¿cuándo supiste que tu llamado fue para dirigir la alabanza?
And I just said, like, I honestly didn't want to lead worship, or I didn't see myself leading worship at first.
Y al principio no sentía que quería dirigir la alabanza, no sentía que era algo que yo quería hacer en ese momento.
I loved to sing, and yeah, sorry, translate that first, sorry.
Me encanta cantar.
But like, being totally real here, I did grow up in a home where like my parents were the pastors and involved in ministry, and I like witnessed a lot of like hard stuff that happened.
Y crecí en un hogar cristiano y soy hija de pastor. Entonces, en mi hogar yo veía todos las cosas fuertes que traía el ministerio.
And I always told myself, I'm not gonna like be in ministry in the sense where like ministry won't be my whole life. Like I will support the church, I will volunteer, but I didn't want it to like consume like my entire life. Like I wanted to have like a career or something outside of it.
So, mi sentido era que yo quería apoyar, quería ser como un soporte, pero porque quería enfocarme y tener tiempo para otras cosas como mi profesión, mis cosas más seculares.
But obviously God has a way of changing your heart and making things happen that, you know, you didn't really want to happen, but you have a change of heart because he knows how to change your heart.
Pero el Señor es el que pues cambia corazones y él sabe cómo hacerlo.
Oh, what is that? Oh no. Okay, there we go. Okay.
But yeah, so sorry, I kind of lost my train of thought. But I did go to school. I wanted to, you know, work with children and grow in the Spanish language and my knowledge of speaking in Spanish.
Sí, sí pude estudiar y quería trabajar con niños y también quería crecer en mi aprendizaje del idioma del español.
And my goal was kind of like, okay, I'll help out with the music ministry, but I'm still going to like have my own career of working with children and possibly opening up my own daycare.
Pero mi meta era pues ayudar en el ministerio de la alabanza y adoración, pero yo quería abrir como un cuidado de niños. Esa era mi meta.
But that didn't happen. And I'm totally like it, you know, at the time it was kind of hard, like, God, that's what I really wanted. But he had something different planned for my life. And I, you know, ended up doing this, but I don't regret it. Cause like, this is like worship means a lot to me. And it's been such a beautiful opportunity that I've had. So.
Pero sí, yo le dije al Señor, pero yo quería hacer eso y quería trabajar con niños, pero no me arrepiento de tomar la decisión que tomé para ser directora de alabanza y adoración. De eso sí no me arrepiento.
And sorry, I know I'm probably answering more than that is necessary for this question, but I'll just like end with this. But right now where I'm like, worship will always be a part of my life, no matter what happens in my life.
Y voy a terminar con esto. La adoración siempre va a ser parte de mi vida, no importa lo que pase.
And what I've shared it in like the devotion I've written, but one thing I've discovered, like I don't need a platform. I don't need a church platform in order to worship.
Yo he compartido esto en mi devocional que yo he escrito, que yo no necesito una plataforma en la iglesia para adorar.
And that's where I'm currently at. I don't have a church platform, I guess you would say, anymore, but that's not stopping my worship. In fact, it's taking me to a deeper worship experience.
Y ahora donde estoy, no tengo esa plataforma que tenía en la iglesia, pero donde yo estoy ahorita, como no tengo esa plataforma, siento que el Señor me está llevando más profundo y
Because worship wasn't designed to be, in order for it to be worship, you need to be in front of a crowd of people and on like a platform in a church setting.
La adoración no fue diseñada para estar enfrente de una congregación y un ambiente así de iglesia.
Worship was created to just be like an intimate time between you and Jesus, where you're just opening up your heart to him and loving on him.
La adoración fue creada para ser algo personal, momentos entre tú y Dios o tú y Jesús.
So never think that you have to have this perfect setting in order to worship. You can worship wherever you're at. So,
Amen.
So nunca pienses que necesitas tener un ambiente perfecto para adorar. Puedes adorar donde sea, donde estés.
Yvette, why don't you have an Instagram? Well, it's two questions. The first question is,
una Instagram, Yvette.
why don't you have an Instagram? And the second question is, who is your favorite music director?
Oh my God. Oh, this is exciting. Okay. Okay, let me think. All right. So why don't I have an Instagram? First, because I initially deleted it on accident. But
Yeah,
it was timely. It was timely because I was in school and I needed to focus on school. And I was one of those people that was constantly on social media and just my focus was on that. And so I felt like it was kind of timely that I did that. And so I haven't had one since. It's been over a year. No regrets. I got to start fresh again on social media, but I'll come around. I
Spanish,
don't know
real
when.
quick, Spanish.
So no tengo Instagram. Okay, so no tengo Instagram porque lo borré por accidente, pero también estuve estudiando al mismo tiempo, entonces tenía que enfocarme en mis estudios, so no traté de abrir la cuenta de nuevo, crear una nueva, y hasta este día no tengo Instagram. And then the second one was my favorite worship leader?
No, music director.
Music director.
Okay, dude.
Yeah.
Oh, let me think. This is hard. There's so many great ones.
Indeed.
MD. Okay, MD favorite is MH.
Oh,
MH.
snap. Snap. Is that me?
Yeah, okay, dude. Miguel
Yeah.
Hernandez, you tell us.
Hernandez.
Is
Yeah.
Thank-
Yeah, that's my favorite MD. I miss working with Mike. I miss being bossed around the way Mike bossed me around.
I'm so polite. I ask very nicely.
You do. Passive aggressive, maybe? No, I'm just kidding.
Depends on how you interpret it. Okay, Benjamin Robles.
Hi.
Hi.
This is Geraldine. I'm using my son's my application, his telephone. So I'm in New York, and I have a question. Was it difficult to introduce a new song to the congregation? And because for me, it's kind of difficult. Like when we introduced a new song because of the melody, and people might not really react to it or maybe respond to it. So how was that for you guys in when you guys were in Centro Vida?
Yeah, I'll probably answer a little bit, and then Mike, you can elaborate. But it is always a little bit of a challenge when introducing like a new song to your church fam or your congregation because they're not familiar with it. But a good concept that Mike always like would mention is like every song that you sing was a new song at one point. So it's always good to introduce new songs, and you can even go to scripture, singing to the Lord a new song. But I would just encourage you, don't be discouraged if they're not going crazy or singing along or looking like, they're not into it. Like, don't be affected by that. But if you feel like the Lord has put that song on your heart to sing, there's a reason. And it may not touch a group of people, but you may touch one person. And if you could touch one person with that song, like that's all you need in order to do new song. But that's kind of like what I would say. Mike, what would you say?
Yes, introducing new songs is very difficult. I mean, it depends on the song. Yvette, where are you at?
Oh, sorry, Yvette. Is she here?
Is she here?
Oh, yeah, she's here. Está aquí.
I'm here.
Okay. Hey, Yvette, can you repeat that question real quick in
Sure.
Spanish? Yeah.
Sorry, Yvette.
It's okay. La pregunta fue cómo introducían canciones nuevas a la congregación.
Okay, so it's very difficult to introduce a new song. It depends on the song. Sometimes we sing a song like The Blessing and it just goes over very well. But then some songs we introduce and it just doesn't hit the same way like we wanted to. And it's important for you not to have expectations on how people should receive a song.
You want me to translate, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so a veces cuando nosotros traemos una canción nueva a la congregación, como por ejemplo la canción The Blessing, la bendición, a veces esa canción sí la recibieron, pero habían otras canciones que no las recibían de la misma manera. Entonces, a veces cuando uno presenta una canción nueva o trae una canción nueva, es importante no tener expectativas de cómo la gente va a recibir o debe recibir la canción.
It's important to do a song because that song has been placed on your heart, and you feel that there's a need to do the song. So it kind of lifts a lot of that pressure off of you in order for it to go well. That is very hard to do because especially when we're introducing a new song, we got eyes looking at us and we got expectations over to the side looking at us. Hey, the song's not going well. Why don't we end it early and move over to the faster song? That one hits. Or let's move over to Poderoso Dios. That's the song that people really like.
So a veces cuando uno hacía una canción nueva, uno sentía como una presión, pero es importante, por eso es importante cuando uno tiene una canción y quiere hacerla, es que uno sienta que esa canción Dios la puso en su corazón y por eso la están cantando, porque eso alivia esa presión que uno siente de como los que están a un lado mirándole a uno como que, ok, esta canción no está pegando como pegan las otras, cambien otra canción o ya paren la canción. So eso como que alivia esas miradas que uno siente de las personas claves en la iglesia. So.
I think this is one area where Britt's stubbornness really benefited the team overall.
Yo pienso que esta es una área de que demostraba que la terquedad que tenía Brittany era algo que era un beneficio para el grupo.
Because whenever we start to feel that pressure, hey, people aren't really responding to this song, let's move on to the next song, she would kind of just dig her heels into the sand and just sing it more.
Eran esos momentos que cuando nosotros sentíamos la presión como que esta canción no está pegando y Brittany no, mejor cantemos otra canción o cambiemos otra canción, pero Brittany se plantaba los pies bien en la tierra y seguía con la misma canción.
There was one time, and this was about a year and a half ago, maybe a year ago, we were having a prayer service, and this prayer service was a very different format. So it wasn't like, we start off with a few songs, we have offering, then we go to preaching. We did things very differently, even.
So, como hace año y medio tuvimos un culto de oración donde las cosas eran diferentes, se hacían diferentes, el formato era diferente. Entonces las canciones pues no eran como tradicionalmente los hacemos en los servicios.
And we were told to sing one song at the end, and we really felt strongly about the song that we were saving towards the end to sing.
Y teníamos que cantar una canción al final y nosotros sentíamos algo bien fuerte con esa canción que íbamos a cantar hasta el final.
And we were getting ready to sing it, but the person who took the mic was trying to end the service. And there was no time limit. I think it was like 8 o'clock at night. So it wasn't like super late, but they were trying to end the service. And so they kind of dismissed everybody. And what ended up happening is Britt turns to me, she comes, start the intro. And so I was like, okay. And so I started the intro, and then we did the entire song, and people were confused because they're like, didn't you guys dismiss? And yes, we did dismiss, but nothing was holding us back from doing another song. I mean, they could still leave if they wanted to, but this song isn't really just for everybody there, it's for God. So that's who we ended up singing it to. We sang it to God.
So lo que pasó fue que estamos preparándonos para cantar esa canción que habíamos guardado para el final del culto de oración, pero la persona que tomó el micrófono ya estaba dando la despedida para que ya todos se vayan a casa, pero nosotros pues estamos como confundidos, pero Brittany dijo, ok, Mike, haz la introducción de la canción y cantamos la canción. Entonces empezaron a cantar la canción. La gente estaba un poco confundida, aunque no había tiempo limitado para el culto. Todavía era temprano, pero la gente ya se estaba yendo. Pero ellos empezaron a cantar la canción y terminaron la canción completa. Y en ese momento esa canción realmente no era para la gente que estaba ahí, los miembros estaban ahí, sino era para Dios. Y lo cantaron para Dios.
Now, you don't have to be that stubborn, but it's important for you to be confident about the song selections that you do choose, and just own those songs. And if they don't work, then figure out why they didn't work and then see what you can do to make them better next time. Some songs don't work and you just have to accept that. But other songs just need a little bit of time in order for people to kind of understand them and to feel them out and to start flow with them. There's a lot of times where we sang a song, it didn't work out the first time, but then the second time just really hit the congregation. Again, we're not doing it for an applause. We're doing it to reach people's hearts and to please God. And a lot of times you can reach someone's heart without, I mean, they may not respond in the same way visually. They may just, just be really touched or praying or just be very soft with their emotions, but doesn't mean that they're not receiving something.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was a lot. Yvette, go ahead.
It's okay. I'm going to try to go as close to that as possible. So, a veces uno no tiene que ser tan terco como fue Brittany en ese momento, pero uno sí tiene que tener seguridad en la selección de canciones que uno va a cantar, porque a veces lo que pasa es que uno pues canta una canción y no pega duro o no pega o la gente no lo recibe tan bien la primera vez, pero puede ser que la segunda vez sí lo haga, porque realmente no lo estamos haciendo para el aplauso, sino lo estamos haciendo para el Señor y para tocar a los corazones de los que nos escuchan.
Danny, how are you? Where are you from?
Hi, yo no sé hablar inglés, no sé si me puede ayudar traduciéndoles.
No, está bien,
Listo.
está bien.
Bueno, un saludo para todos. Yo soy de Medellín, Colombia.
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 Medallo.
Medallo, la mejor ciudad de Colombia. Y pues quería decirles dos cosas. La primera era que estoy muy agradecido con Dios por permitirme conocerlos. Cuando los conocí, inicié mi liderazgo en la alabanza en la iglesia donde estoy. Y fueron de gran inspiración. Incluso ellos saben que soy fan número 1 de Centro Vida. No sé si sigo hablando o qué.
Yo lo puedo traducir súper rápido. So he pretty much said that he has two things to say, but for the first one, that he's so grateful to you guys, to Brittany, Mike, Centro Vida, because when he started leading worship at the church that he's at now, guys really inspired him, and he says he's your #1 fan. So
Thank you.
Dale.
Sus canciones han sido inspiración para nosotros, y la forma de ministrar también han sido inspiración para nuestra congregación. Entonces, primero darles muchísimas gracias.
Gracias.
So he's so grateful because the songs that you guys have chosen and the way you minister has been such an inspiration to them and to their congregation. So he's just like super grateful about it.
Hola.
Okay.
Hola, sí.
Tenía una pregunta, y esta era, en este momento yo pues continúo siendo el líder de alabanza en mi congregación, y noto que muchas personas pues como que desean liderar la alabanza. A veces siento que es una cuestión como competitiva, a veces siento que debo dar el espacio, pues como darles la oportunidad de hacerlo. Y me gustaría saber ustedes qué piensan de esto. Pues yo soy vocalista, ¿cierto? Bueno, es eso que quería decir.
Okay.
Gracias.
So his second question is, he's one of the vocalists there at the church, he leads worship. And he feels that there are other people who are trying to lead worship as well. And it could be competitive. So his question is, ¿cuál fue la pregunta exacta? ¿Que es competitivo? Perdón. Sí.
Sí.
Okay.
Competitivo.
Okay. So he feels like it's competitive. So how does he allow that to happen without it feeling like it's a competition?
Do you want to answer that, Mike, or do you want me to go?
Why don't you go first real quickly and then I can go.
Okay, competitive. I would say
I can go.
yeah, you go first. I need to like process this a little more. You go first.
A little competition isn't a bad thing.
Dice que un poco de competición no es algo malo.
It has to be healthy.
Tiene que ser saludable.
I want the person that is trying to lead worship to do a great job.
Quiero que la persona que esté dirigiendo la alabanza a que haga un buen trabajo.
I also want to do better than what they're doing.
Pero también yo quiero hacer mejor de lo que ellos están haciendo.
But the moment you start wishing that you're the other musician or the other worship leader or the other person does poorly in their position, that's when you need to check your spirit.
Y cuando uno empiece a sentir que quiere que la otra persona no haga tan bien y que no hagan un buen trabajo, entonces ahí es cuando uno debe reflexionar y mirarse a uno mismo y ver cómo está su espíritu.
For all those worship leaders, I know that I'm not alone, especially the musicians. Whenever you see somebody else doing your favorite song, you kind of have this very deep wish that, hey, I hope they mess up on that verse. I don't think they're going to get that verse. No, they're not going to get that verse. No, watch. How do they? They're not going to hit that note. And we kind of wish for it. And that's when you need to check your spirit.
So, él como músico me está diciendo que pues también con vocalistas, pero él más porque es músico, dice que a veces cuando, por ejemplo, alguien esté tocando o cantando una de las canciones preferidas de uno, entonces como que uno trata de como escuchar y decir, como que uno desea que como que le salga algo mal o no hagan algo bien. Entonces uno dice, oh, no creo que van a alcanzar esta nota. Oh, no, así no se canta. Oh, entonces uno empieza a tener todos sus pensamientos y ahí es cuando uno debe reflexionar y revisar cómo está su espíritu.
I would just say, like Mike said, it is healthy to have just a little bit of competition to help you want to just, better yourself. Sorry, but.
Okay. So Brittany quiere añadir algo. Que ella también dice que es saludable tener un poco de competencia, es algo pues como más o menos normal también.
But I think we just always have to make sure like our minds are focusing on the bigger picture of everything, which is like what we're doing isn't to show off our abilities or our talents, but it's to bring or get people to have their eyes on him, on God.
So, cuando uno pues tenga esos momentos, uno tiene que acordarse que lo que hacemos no es para necesariamente demostrar nuestras habilidades, nuestros talentos, sino es para Dios, es mirando como la imagen grande, o sea, todo entero.
And the beautiful thing about having a team, like multiple people, is you guys are working together to flow in the spirit.
Y lo hermoso de tener un equipo es que están trabajando juntos para poder fluir en el espíritu.
And that's why, like, I mean, we could talk about this forever, but musical chemistry is so important because one team member, God may be revealing something to them, and it's always good to kind of be aware of. So you give them that opportunity to share or sing that melody that maybe God has put on their hearts, and then they do the same for you.
A veces en un equipo puede ser que un miembro Dios esté revelando algo, una melodía para que ellos canten y es importante darles ese espacio porque puede ser que a usted también le toque algo así, que el Señor le esté dando una canción, una melodía donde usted quiera expresarse. Eso es dar ese espacio para que eso pase.
Rosalva, where are you at? I think you might have left. Oh, hey,
No.
Hello, Rosalva?
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. How are you guys?
Good. Where are you from?
I'm from Connecticut.
Sweet.
I can't believe I'm actually talking to you guys. Wow, I'm actually talking to Centro Vida right now. Let me just process. Okay.
It's good to talk to you.
I wanted to say that you guys are a big inspiration to me and to my church. I'm part of the worship team at my church. And when I first started worshiping, I used to be really shy. I even had trouble just like raising my hands to worship. And they put me on the worship team, and like I started growing from there. But like watching you guys on YouTube, my mom was actually the one that introduced me to you guys. And seeing you guys worship and the way that Brittany worships and the way how you guys are just so like united has like really inspired me and has made me like into a better worshiper. And I praise God for that, for like using you guys to like to do what you guys do. And you know, I still struggle, and like I wanted to ask about like, you know, fear. Like let's say when you're leading a song, sometimes like I feel like I want to like say stuff, like I feel it in me to like, you know, minister or to like, you know, flow, but like I still get scared, like I still get like stuck. And I wanted to know, how do you guys deal with that? Like while you guys are worshiping, like how do you guys deal with like fear and stuff?
Yeah, that's a good question. And
hey, Vet, how do you deal with fear? Spanish.
Oh, you want me to translate the question?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, the last part.
Okay. La pregunta es, ¿cómo manejan el miedo o el temor mientras dirigen la adoración y alabanza?
I could go into like a lot of different things, but let me try to like, you know, summarize it. Like I totally get where you're at. I don't know if you lead worship in English or Spanish. And I don't know if you're fluent in Spanish, but for me, I
do Spanish. I speak Spanish. So yeah.
Okay. I totally get the fear thing. For me, I get additional fear because I'm not fluent in Spanish. Sorry, Yvette, do you want to translate that?
It's okay. So ella le preguntó si habla español o dirige en inglés. So el miedo de Brittany siempre fue por el idioma, por el español.
So for me, this Zoom thing keeps changing like the picture.
I know, mine does.
Weird. Anyways, the fear that I've experienced is like if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, or like my church family isn't going to understand it.
So el miedo, el temor que yo he sentido en el pasado ha sido que no voy a poder comunicarme con mi familia, o sea, los miembros de la congregación, o no me voy a dar a entender.
And for like, these are the three things that I always try to work on in order to overcome my fear. And one of them is in the beginning, practice sometimes what you want to say. If you're taking the time to practice the songs you're going to sing and you feel like the Lord's put something on your heart, think about in advance what you want to say to your church family.
So yo hago 3 cosas para ayudarme con el miedo o el temor. La primera es ayuda cuando uno puede ensayar antes de tiempo. So si uno, por ejemplo, si Dios le da algunas palabras y quiere que usted quiera expresarlo, la manera de hacer, una de las maneras que puede ayudar con eso es ensayando. O sea, cuando uno antes de tener que decirlo, uno lo hace en su tiempo personal.
And the second thing is to remind yourself, like, you don't have whatever you feel in your heart to say. It doesn't have to be some beautiful, poetic, very fancy way of saying it.
So, la segunda cosa es que uno tiene que recordarse que no, lo que uno dice, las palabras que uno siente, no tiene que ser algo poético, algo tan súper profundo.
It could just be what's on your heart, even if it's like the simplest thing, like, I love you, Jesus. Like, there's so much beauty and depth, even in those phrases.
Puede ser algo bien sencillo, como te amo, Jesús, porque a veces en eso viene del corazón y eso puede ser algo bien profundo.
And be reminded that what you're saying, even though you are trying to connect with the congregation, ultimately it's for God. And when you like express what's on your heart to him, it makes him so happy to hear that from you.
Y siempre hay que recordarse que cuando uno dice algo que está en su corazón y se lo dice a Dios, Dios se contenta en escuchar esas palabras que vienen desde lo profundo de su ser.
And then like the last thing I'll say, if I don't know if you struggle with this, but this is something I struggle with. If there's something I want to say in Spanish, but I don't know how to say it, I will just say it in English. And I always feel in my heart, like God's going to make a way for everyone to understand what I say, because his spirit can do that.
So, a veces cuando Brittany sentía algo en su corazón, la lucha de ella era que no sabía cómo decirlo en español, so ella lo hacía en inglés de todas maneras y esperaba que el Señor hiciera algo o de alguna manera la gente le iba a entender.
Yeah, Mike, did you want to say anything? I hope that was helpful.
I think you said it. It was really well put.
Okay.
Thank you so much, all the way from Connecticut. It was really great to meet you.
Yeah.
Nice to meet you guys too. Thank you for all that you guys are doing.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. We only got a few more minutes left. I did want to cover a couple more questions and maybe just end with some final thoughts. Marialo Monroe, you have been waiting for a minute, so I'm going to go to you. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from.
Yeah, thank you, guys. I still can't believe that we're here talking to you. But well, I'm Mariela Monroe from Costa Rica. Well, you can also look for my Instagram if you want to. So yeah, I'm from Costa Rica. I lead worship at my current church. And well, I have a few questions. I hope it's not too long. But yeah, well, the first one is, well, I know that we try to prepare in advance for those moments of worship, right? In our intimacy with God. But I was wondering if you have like other ways in which you prepare for those spontaneous moments in worship. I mean, basically with the theme, right? Because, well, I would say that sometimes spontaneous worship is just that, right? It's spontaneous, but I don't know if you have a way in which you guys as a team you connect and you know that this is the way it should go, right?
Yeah.
And well, that's my first question, and I have another one. And so,
yeah, go ahead. Why don't you ask your other question as well?
So, and my second question is, how important is for a worship leader to play an instrument? And also another thing was that Danny mentioned before about this competitive, I don't know how to call it, like spirit within the worship team. So how do you address that, or are jealous within the worship team, right? Because I think, well, maybe it's not in all churches, but it could happen, right? So how do you address, or how do you approach to that person that you are feeling like something about it, or if you just prayed about it, or if you as a team you join together, or you prayed about it? So yeah, those questions.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yvette, you want to go at it?
Translate this question about the spontaneous, like how do we prepare for that, or if we prepare for that?
Yeah.
So, pregunta que preguntó Mariela fue que cómo se preparan para esos momentos espontáneos de adoración, porque esos momentos realmente son algo espontáneo, pero cómo se preparan en equipo también para que todo fluya. And then the second one was...
sorry, I'm losing it too. About
how important to play.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it. Qué importante es que el director de alabanza o directora de alabanza toque un instrumento.
And then
también habló de lo que había hablado. Yeah. Y también habló, I just missed number 2, but I did number 1, number 3. Okay. Y también habló de que lo que había hablado Dani anteriormente, de cómo uno puede manejar ese espíritu de competencia o de celos que hay en el grupo.
Okay, let's answer this first one. Do you want to go first? Or you want me to go?
Yeah, I can go first, and then you can kind of piggyback off of that.
Sure.
The way we kind of do spontaneous, you shouldn't really prepare for it necessarily. That's kind of the bad way that, or like that's not the way that we think about it. We think more about it where we're gonna flow. We don't really call it spontaneous because, you know, anything can be spontaneous. We kind of just flow with whatever the moment calls for. And then the way we do that is we have a lot of times where we just kind of worship as our rehearsal. In our rehearsal, we just worship as a group. And what that does is really helps dial in the chemistry because spontaneous doesn't really sound good whenever everybody on the team is thinking something different. And a lot of things that I started to notice in watching other groups is that people really have that spontaneous spirit, but everybody is thinking something different. Yvette, you want to translate that?
Dang it, Mike. So, básicamente lo que está diciendo Mike es que realmente no hay una manera específica para prepararse para algo espontáneo, porque pues no es realmente lo que uno quiere hacer, porque es algo que tiene que pasar en el momento, pero tiene que fluir. Solo lo que se preparan es para que fluya. Lo que hacen es que en los ensayos, ahí es cuando realmente adoran, y ahí es cuando pueden conectar y ver qué es lo que fluye y qué es lo que no está fluyendo para poder implementar eso durante los servicios. Pero realmente se trata de poder tener ese tiempo en ensayo, en el grupo, para poder ver cómo pueden las básicamente. Yeah.
So it's important to have that chemistry during those spontaneous moments, or else it's just going to sound like chaos. And it's not that somebody else is not really feeling it, or it's not because they're not really connected in the spirit or connected musically. It's just because you guys are thinking two different things, and you need to have more time together in order to dial in that chemistry. It just takes a lot of musical maturity.
Es algo como una conexión, una química que el grupo tiene, porque a veces cuando hay personas diferentes y en un momento espontáneo puede ser algo que es lleno de caos. Una persona hace esto, la otra persona hace eso. Realmente es lo que uno puede hacer en grupo, el tiempo que uno tiene en grupo para poder formar esa conexión, esa química, y eso después llega a ser madurez musical.
I confuse people all the time whenever I tell them I really like to improv with music. Be improvisational. Yvette.
Yo siempre le confundo a la gente cuando les digo que me gusta que la música sea algo de improvisión.
And then I tell them that I really want things to be structured.
Y después les digo que quiero que las cosas sean estructuradas.
The way I see it is a fighter pilot needs to be very structured and disciplined in his training in order to be able to fly to the skies.
Mi ejemplo sería como un piloto, pero esos pilotos de guerra que tienen que tener estructura para cómo van a llegar y volar en el aire.
And that's the way we need to approach music. We need to be very structured and disciplined in order to be able to understand how to properly be spontaneous, in order to play the right chords without conflicting with my neighbor's harmony. That's why it's important to be very structured and disciplined so that you guys won't step over each other.
Yeah.
So es importante entender que uno tiene que tener una estructura para poder llegar a tener esa estructura, puede llegar a improvisión, para que cuando uno como músico esté tocando algo no sea de conflicto con lo que está haciendo su compañero o su hermano que está tocando otra cosa.
Great.
I would just say quickly, like one thing Mike kind of said is musical chemistry is super crucial in flowing in like spontaneous stuff. Yvette, sorry.
Algo crucial que dijo Mike es que tiene que haber esa química o esa conexión musical para poder fluir en adoración espontánea.
And that's developed over time. Like when you guys practice, like the same team, and you guys are practicing like every week and doing every service together, it will develop. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time, but it will get there if you guys are consistent.
Y eso se desarrolla con el tiempo, semanalmente teniendo ensayos, siendo consistentes. Es la única manera que uno va a ver ese desarrollo que va a llegar a tener esos momentos espontáneos.
And then the last thing I'll say regarding that question is another thing that really helped us is our rehearsals we would have Friday nights. We would treat them as a rehearsal, but also as a time of worship. And usually in those times of worship is a little bit less pressure because we weren't like in a service where a bunch of people were watching us. It was just us as a team worshiping together.
So, para nosotros, lo que nosotros hacíamos era que teníamos en nuestros ensayos esos momentos de adoración, porque en los ensayos no había esa presión de que había gente en la congregación que nos estaban mirando, sino era algo que podíamos fluir.
And sometimes like in those rehearsal moments, like because we didn't feel pressure, sometimes like we would have our focus on God and he would begin to reveal stuff, and we would just sometimes flow in stuff that we didn't necessarily practice or that was a part of the song.
Y en esos ensayos, porque nosotros nos sentíamos esa presión, entonces sentíamos que el Señor nos daba esas melodías, nos revelaba esas palabras, y entonces empezábamos a ensayar con eso y así prepararnos para lo que teníamos que hacer el domingo.
And that gave, I know for me, and I'm sure for others, it gave us confidence for that service coming up and having more of a clear direction of how of the set and where God's going to take us.
Y eso para mí, para los otros miembros de mi grupo, nos daba como claridad para saber cómo las cosas van a ir.
So yeah.
Hey,
answer.
Jazz, did you want to chime in and say something?
Yeah.
Give your little input. Go ahead. Unmute your mic.
Yes.
Oh wait, Jazz, where are you at?
She's there.
She's here. She's there.
Okay.
Okay, I'm here.
All right.
I guess I think the biggest thing that that kind of just jumps out at me, and like as far as the chemistry part of it and just spending time together, I think it's super important that you build a family before you try to build a worship team, because in those little moments and those like small conversations where you just talk about God, like in simple terms, it's not anything fancy, it's not anything like okay established yet, it's just building that person up, it's building their relationship with the Lord. And I feel like just being a part of a team like that, like I've seen Brittany and Mike, the way that they've kind of nurtured people and kind of poured into people, and some like even for myself, like I felt like, okay, I'm not as equipped, I'm not as good as this or whatnot, but they love on you and they kind of push you, and it doesn't feel good sometimes, but you kind of have to have that person to believe in you, like, okay, you can do this. But it's all in like the devotionals, it's in meeting with people, like becoming family and having that trust, like being able to trust your leader to kind of take you there. It's you're all leading by example. It's not just, okay, do this and saying it, but it's living it, it's doing it. And so that's like the huge part in like leading people into worship. It's building that trust. And like I've seen Britt do it where like I know she's nervous about it or like not too sure, but she believes in it so much that it doesn't really matter like if it's gonna sound great, if it's gonna like relate to the congregation, but God just kind of moves in that, like in that intention, in her love, and just kind of pours out in that way. So it's not, sorry, I'm like rambling now, but
Jess, can you cover some of that in Spanish real quick?
Básicamente lo que Jasmine estaba expresando es que ella siente que cuando se trata de una conexión o una química entre grupo, antes de que sea un grupo es una familia y se tratan como familia, empiezan a construir un ambiente familiar y empiezan a sentirse más seguros como grupo, como familia. Pueden hablar en términos más básicos, no tiene que ser algo elegante, no, nada extra. Puede ser algo como sencillo y hablar del Señor en conversaciones simples, sencillas. Tener como esa confianza y también tener la confianza y seguridad en que la directora o el director puede llevar el grupo a ese próximo nivel. Pero todo empieza con esa conexión de familia, esa conexión de confianza, de seguridad, de poder, just tener conversaciones así, como común y corrientes, por decir.
Thank you guys. We were talking about it earlier. We were hoping that there would be at least like 10 people joining us. We didn't want to be like by ourselves, but turns out, we filled up to capacity and we actually couldn't admit everybody in because we only got like the 100-tier subscription. But we'll have to do this again. I hope that this was encouraging and informative and inspiring, Yvette.
Gracias a todos por estar aquí. Mike y Brittany solo esperaban que 10 personas estuvieran conectados, pero llegamos a capacidad porque desafortunadamente solo teníamos el paquete que dejaba 100 personas entrar al Zoom, pero había más gente que no pudimos dejar entrar, estamos de capacidad, pero muchas gracias por estar aquí y queremos hacerlo de nuevo otra vez, pronto, esperamos.
We've always felt a heavy burden to inspire others because, especially me, I know what it's like to come from a small church that doesn't have a whole lot they don't have a whole lot of equipment. There's not a whole lot of people willing to serve in music. You don't really have a sound guy. We know what that's like.
Ha sido una carga poder compartir cosas con ustedes porque él viene de una iglesia pequeña y él sabe cómo es tener algo pequeño y no tener mucho. Entonces él tiene como una pasión para poder ayudar y dar pues sugerencias y consejos también.
You tackle every obstacle one thing at a time. Don't overwhelm yourself by trying to become like Centra Vida overnight. It's not like that. There's a lot behind the curtain that you don't see, a lot of struggle, a lot of things that we didn't have when we started, but we tackled one thing at a time. Okay, first we need this, then we need this, and it takes a long time to do that. It takes a long time to get a bass player. Takes a long time for Brittany to feel comfortable to lead in Spanish.
Michael, lo que está diciendo es que siempre hay que pensar en tomar las cosas una cosa a la vez, porque hay muchos obstáculos que uno tiene que atravesar, pero la mejor manera de hacerlo es tomarlo una cosa a la vez, porque ya todos quieren llegar a un nivel y ser como Centro Vida, pero ellos no siempre fueron a cada cosa separadamente, y es básicamente lo que está diciendo Mike.
But if you keep on going, God is going to fulfill his promise. He will supply you with what you need in order to effectively complete your mission, complete your race. He's not going to leave you empty-handed with just a burden in your heart to do music and not give you any resources in order to fulfill that burden.
Dios siempre va a proveer los recursos necesarios, las personas indicadas para poder llevar adelante ese deseo que uno tiene, esa carga. Él nunca va a dejarlo a usted con esa carga sin darle lo que necesita para poder cumplir ese deseo, o ese sueño, o ese ministerio, expanderlo.
God will supply all that you need, Britt.
No, yeah, I mean, thank you guys for joining. Gracias a todos por unirse, right? Joining, Yvette? Okay. But I would love to do this again, and yeah, we'll see what happens. But I love you all. Thank you for joining. And yeah, like I said, I hope this advice or sharing our experiences has been helpful. Espero que estas consejos, I think, what is it? Estos consejos pueden ayudarte. And yeah, I love you guys.
did you want to say anything real quick?
Puerto está aquí.
Yeah, Humber.
Acting like a producer off screen.
No tengo que decir nada. Pues bueno, nomás que síganle adelante y
Adelante.
pues los consejos que le dieron Brittany y Mike, que lo apliquen pues en las cosas que están pasando en sus iglesias o personalmente o como más les ayude. So, yeah, siguen adelante.
You look like that hamster that you always reshare on your stories.
Like the FaceTime call, it's all zoomed in.
Yeah, we love you guys. Thank you so much.
Let me record everyone.
Oh, wait. Everybody wave.
Wait, I'm gonna do a video. I'm gonna do a video.
Oh.
Adiós a todos.
Hey, turn on your cameras. Turn on your cameras. Give a second.
Prendan sus cámaras.
Los amo mucho.
Turn on your cameras. We want to see you.
Deuces. Bye.
Bye. Love you guys.
Love you. Los amo mucho.
God bless.
God bless.
God bless.